But since it's the season of earnings, let's move on and get in another management to talk about their Q1 earnings. Mr. R. Manomohanan, the Chief Executive Officer of Muthoot Capital Services, joins in. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us on BNSN on ET Now. Now, first up, take us through some key highlights for Q1. You've posted a profit growth of 20% with the NII of over 32%. What's really driven that growth?
Morning, nice to be with you. As you mentioned, Muthoot Capital Services Limited had the board meeting yesterday for finalizing the financial results for the first quarter, that is the quarter ended 30th June 2016. And the company has continued to grow consistently, both in disbursements as well as in profitability. Our loan disbursements for the quarter was 256 crores compared to 196 crores for the corresponding quarter last year, which is a growth of 31%. If you take two-wheeler loans alone, because we are predominantly into two-wheeler financing, the loan disbursement was 233 crores compared to 166 crores in the first quarter last year. This is a better growth of 40%. Our loan book has grown from 878 crores to 1,090 crores, which is about 24%. Our revenues grew from 51 crores to 64 crores, which is a growth of 27%. And our net profit grew from 3.75 crores in the first quarter last year to 4.48 crores this year.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what your margins currently stand at and how yields have shaped up, and what is the outlook for this going forward as well?
Our cost of funds is around 11%, slightly above 11%, and our yield on advances growth is about 25%. So the margins are pretty healthy at 14%. We are, there is no issues in maintaining this profitability, this amount of margins going forward. What we see important is the growth in disbursement. The current year, the total two-wheeler sales pan-India is estimated to be about 1.8 crores. And the finance sale out of that is around 71 lakhs, which is about 40%, which translates to about 32,000 crores of rupees. We are planning to reach a market share of about 3.75% by the end of this financial year, which means we should grow at about 40% in disbursement. Last year, we grew by more than 40% in disbursement, and the first quarter also we were able to maintain the same growth rate. So we are hopeful that we will be able to achieve our plans. We are also planning that our estimate is that there will be an increase of 25% in our net profit for the year. We are in line with that also.
Right. Just to talk about provisioning then, that has been high in Q1 compared year on year as well as quarter on quarter. What is the main cause for this? And if you could just take us through, will you be able to actually continue, will you be continuing to see these elevated levels of provisioning going forward?
Yes, we have been, there has been some increase in our NPAs, partly on account of the economic conditions in the country, and partly on account of the stricter provisioning regime imposed by Reserve Bank of India. As you are aware of, NBFCs were subject to 180 days norm for recognition of NPAs, which has been changed to 90 days to be issued in 3 years. So last year it changed from 180 to 150 days, and this year it has changed from 150 to 120 days. There has been an impact on our profitability on account of this also, but we have been able to we are confident that we have contained that. For example, the financial in the first quarter itself, the impact on our profitability on account of additional provisions on account of progressing from 150 days to 120 days was 3.14 crores of rupees. But we have been able to achieve that, and we have been able to register a profitability in spite of that. And containing NPAs, we have been changing our strategies. We are aware of what is required, and that has been yielding results.
What is the outlook on your loan book growth as well as your disbursements?
We had 1,039 crores. That was the loan book size as of the close of last financial year. I mentioned that the disbursement last year was about 928 crores. We are planning an increase of 40% in the disbursement, which should take us beyond 1,500 crores by the end of this financial year. Loan book.
Okay, very quickly, if you could just take me through what are the gross and net NPA levels for quarter 1?
It is about 6.22 is the gross NPA level, and the net NPA level is around 5%.
Okay. And just one final question. Your current book is mainly two-wheeler finance, but you have said you planned foray into even the used car segment. So how do you see the product mix evolving going ahead?
This is resulting from our thought to diversify the product portfolio. Because our group is having four-wheeler dealerships also in the state of Kerala. So we are planning to diversify into for used cars financing also to start with the state of Kerala as means for diversifying the portfolio. But the plan is still on the drawing board. The business plan, the figures, the terms are still on the drawing board.
All right, lovely interacting with you, Mr. Manomohan. Thanks for giving us a sense as to how business is shaping up and your outlook for Muthoot Capital going forward.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the stock in tandem, by the way, with the rest of the market is fairly subdued in trade. Muthoot Finance at about 274. And just look at the overall market setup because we seem to have ignored it. 85.29 right now on the index, down about 0.5%. Okay for the broader end. When I say broader end, I mean the mid-cap index. Small caps are sulking today. Infi, of course, is struggling today. It's taken